Hi, I'm Carolina with Always Expect More. Today I'm going to show you how to make this quilted wall calendar. Ready? Let's get started. To make our quilted wall calendar, we're going to need some supplies. Velcro, make sure you get the sew on Velcro and not the sticky back. A rotary cutter and ruler, basting spray, heavyweight fusible, or you can use fusible letters, fabric for your numbers and letters, your background, and your calendar pieces, a cutting machine if you're going to cut your own numbers and letters, or you can use iron-on numbers and letters, batting and fusible fleece, a water-soluble pen, and a dowel for hanging. To make your letters and numbers for your wall calendar, you want to iron Heat and Bond Ultra onto the back of your fabric, peel off the paper, and secure it to your silhouette mat. You can use any digital cutter that you prefer, or you can purchase iron-on letters and numbers. Choose your favorite font and cut your letters and numbers using the fabric setting. We're going to start by making the background for our calendar. Cut your pieces. You'll need two 17.5 by 19 inch pieces, one 21.5 by 23 inch piece, and two 3 by 3 inch squares. One of these 17.5 by 19 inch pieces is going to be our pocket on the back, so you can already press it in half. The 3 inch squares can be pressed into triangles if you like. We're going to mark our top with lines so we know where to sew our Velcro. We're going to start with a line 3/4 of an inch from the top. All of these lines are being done with a water-soluble pen. When we're all done, we'll just spray our project with water and these lines will disappear like magic. Your first line is 3/4 of an inch from the top. The next line is 1.5 inches below that. Then a line 2 inches lower. And then you'll make 4 more lines, 2.5 inches down each. We'll make lines vertically, starting 3/4 of an inch over, then 2 inches, 1/2 an inch, 2 inches, 1/2 an inch, until we have our whole calendar gridded out. It'll look like this when we're done. Once you have all your lines on your top, we're going to put the batting inside. Put your backing down face up, your batting will go in between, and your top will go on top. I like to use basting spray to baste mine, but you can use whatever basting method you prefer. It's time to stitch the Velcro onto our top. We're going to stitch the Velcro on and quilt all the way through at the same time. It's an awesome quilt as you go technique. Use the soft fuzzy part of your Velcro, the loop portion, and line it up with each of your lines. You'll want to cut it at each end to make it the right length for your top. Place it underneath your sewing machine and line up the edge with your presser foot. Go all the way back off the top of the quilt and then start stitching. Hold your Velcro in place as you come up to it. It might move. Just lift up your presser foot and put it in place. Keep stitching. Stitch all the way to the end and off the edge of your top. Then add a second line of stitching below that to keep your Velcro secure in place. Now you have all your Velcro pieces sewn on and your top starting to look like a calendar. We're going to trim off all the edges. Line up your ruler and cut all the way around. If you line up the lines of your ruler with your lines of quilting, they'll look a lot more square. Don't worry if you have small areas where the batting hangs over. This will be covered with your binding. When you cut, if you're measuring, you'll notice that the overall size has shrunk a little bit because of the quilting. We're ready to add the pocket. Turn your quilt over, and with your other piece, fold it in half, fold side up, match up all of your raw edges. If you want pockets for holding a hanging rod, add them right here. Then take this to your sewing machine and baste with a large stitch all the way around. You'll want to baste about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge so that stitching doesn't show up when you bind. Then go ahead and bind it with whatever your preferred binding method is, and your calendar top is done. Now we're ready to make the little calendar squares that'll hold our numbers. You can use a plain fabric, or for fun, you can use some decorative fabrics for special days, holidays, birthdays, or a baseball game. Start by cutting your fabric into 2.5-inch strips and your fusible fleece into 2-inch strips. Then subcut these into 2.5-inch squares of fabric and 2-inch squares of fusible fleece. You'll want to use the hook part of your Velcro and cut that into 2-inch segments. Find the fusible side of your fusible fleece and fuse it onto the wrong side of your squares. Half of your squares will need this fusible on them. Leave your 1/4-inch margin all the way around when you fuse it down. Take the hook portion of your Velcro and put it on the back. You'll want to measure about 1/2 inch down and then sew it on. Sew from end all the way across to the other end and then repeat on the bottom. You can use a regular sewing foot for this, but it might be easier for you if you have a walking foot. Once you're finished, place your plain piece of fabric right side down on top of your Velcro, leaving your fusible fleece on one side and the wrong side of the other fabric on the other. Sew all the way around, leaving a hole on the bottom for turning. When you get to a corner, put your needle down, lift your presser foot up, turn 90 degrees, put your presser foot back down, and keep stitching. We're stitching all the way around with a 1/4-inch seam. Don't forget to leave that hole for turning. Once you've made it all the way around, you can clip these extra threads, but they're all going to get hidden, so don't worry about it. You do want to clip your corners to reduce the bulk. Clip about 2 to 3 threads away from where you've stitched. Make sure you don't cut your stitching. You'll end up with a hole. Now turn it right side out. It's a little tricky, the hole is a little small, but wiggle and you'll get there. Once you get it turned right side out, you'll be tempted to grab your scissors and poke out the corners with the pointy ends, but that'll probably result in a hole in your project. Instead, grab something with a dull end and use that to poke out your corners. We're ready to close it up. Fold in your edges of the hole that you used for turning and finger press. When you're happy with the way everything lines up, put it underneath your presser foot and edge stitch all the way around. Edge stitch means stitching about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. Put your presser foot down, lift up, put your needle down, lift up your presser foot, put your presser foot back down, and then keep sewing. Needle down, presser foot up, turn, presser foot down, and keep stitching. Put your numbers on, center them the way you like them, and fuse them down. Repeat for all your numbers and any special holidays or birthdays you want with specialty fabrics. You'll want to repeat this process for all of your months. The size is a little bit larger, you'll find the measurements below. All the months and extra days can be tucked into the pocket in the back. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make this quilted wall calendar. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, be sure to subscribe for more crafty awesomeness, and check out the details below.